What's poppin', everyone? Tara Lynch here with the next big thing, the video cast sharing all things infotainment. Now, are you looking to launch a personal brand? Well, Justin Holch from On Base Media joins me to give us some tips. Plus, we go over this week's top story and trends. Let's jump right in. We begin with our top story. Earlier this week, Dr. Anthony Fauci testified in front of Congress saying there is a disturbing surge of positive COVID-19 cases in the United States. While areas like New York City and Connecticut in the Northeast have successfully decreased their positive cases, other areas like Texas, Arizona, and Florida are seeing a surge in positive cases and hospitalizations. Now, what is the key to containing the coronavirus? Testing, and more testing. This is what Dr. Fauci is recommending, along with isolating individuals who have contracted the virus and people they've come in contact with. Raise your hand if you or your friends have ever said, "Hey, I want to launch a brand." Well, what does that even mean and how do we do it? Today, I brought in an expert, Justin Holch from On Base Media. Justin, thank you so much for joining me on the next big thing today.
I am happy to be here. I'm excited to talk to you, Tara.
So let's just start at the beginning. What is On Base Media and, how did you get inspired to launch it?
Yeah, so On Base Media was nothing I created for a brand or anything like that. I started it while I was working at a day camp. I wanted to post my thoughts on baseball, and I just kept posting, and I gained some followers over the 2019 season, and I've just found posting consistent content every day is it's a really good way to sort of gain a following, and if you engage enough, you can have a lot of fun doing that.
And you said you gained some followers. Let's be exact here. You have 10,000 followers, which is pretty darn good for just a short period of time. What is the most challenging part about, launching a social media account like this and kind of turning it into a brand?
I think it's patience. I think everybody wants to grow overnight, and it just doesn't work that way. I get messages all the time saying, "How did you get 10K? Can you get me there?" And I was like, if you give yourself 18 to 24 months to put in the work and make the posts and produce all the content and engage with people who want to talk to you, yeah, I can get you there. But it's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen by me giving you a shout out on Instagram. It definitely doesn't work that way. It takes a little bit of work, which I try to preach to anybody who sort of asks me on what I'm doing.
And Major League Baseball typically is the subject of On Base Media. Baseball's had a really slow start to their season in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So how have you developed content without live games here in the US?
I mean, baseball has a vast history, and so many things have happened in the past 100 years in the game. And if you look hard enough, you can find facts, you can find old videos, you can find a lot on baseball. And you just can't be too fancy with what you post. You can't think about it too much, because once you start overthinking it, it all goes haywire. So I just find things I enjoy, and if I enjoy them, hopefully other people will. And it seems to have stuck over the past couple months, and I've gained quite a bit of following even without baseball. So I'm happy.
And as we continue forward and you continue developing On Base Media, if someone out there is looking to launch their own brand or try to boost their brand to that next level, you talked a little bit about it before, but what are some tips that you have for building your own brand?
I think you got to start with love and passion for whatever it is. If you start in it for money, you're going to get frustrated. Unless you're Mark Zuckerberg, you are going to get extremely frustrated. If you start in it with love and passion, I think the sky's the limit. And this is coming from a person who's never made a dollar. I just love talking about baseball, and I'll continue to do so as long as Instagram and my podcast allow me to. And I'm excited for the season to start in a couple weeks.
Well, that is what we're going to get into next here on the next big thing. The MLB is back. Justin, thank you so much for joining me on the next big thing today.
Happy to have you. And if you want to go check out On Base Media, it's at On Base Media on Instagram, or the Baseball Happy Hour podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So I appreciate your time, Tara.
We're going to check it out. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Justin, for joining me. And we just talked about it. Baseball is back. The MLB owners voted earlier this week that there will be a season, finally. And they've created some guidelines for it, and we are here for it. So here's what we're looking at. A 60-game season with a 10-team playoff bracket. That season will start in late July. In early July, we will have spring training part 2. And of course, the players' salaries have been a big topic of conversation. They will be earning 37% of their salary for this abbreviated season. Now, the biggest challenge for Major League Baseball and other sports too is keeping the players healthy, both fighting against COVID-19 and injury. Fans are really excited, and I'm excited to say, welcome back, baseball. Mindfulness is a key topic of our Trends for You segment, and recently I read an article by Anu Gupta of 10%.com saying that mindfulness can be a way of addressing systemic racism. Now, we all need to transform our thoughts and actions, and this is now just an extension of our regular mindfulness routine. Mindfulness is merely the act of noticing something, whether that is an emotion, a feeling, an action, a body sensation, and noticing this without judgment. So we all have biases, and that's something the article suggests we take a look at. We need to address this word because it usually has a negative connotation to it. We all have these biases whether we recognize it or not. And one thing that we can all do is just continue to work and transform. By being mindful, we automatically become more aware, and that will help us to change our actions. Is this going to be uncomfortable? Yes, it will, but our awareness can help us to transform moment by moment. Okay, all you cool cats and kittens, that's all the time we have today on The Next Big Thing. If you have something big to share, drop me a direct message or put it in the comments below. I'd love to see the topics that you guys want to discuss. Come back next week for more, and remember, when you need the news that pops, I'll be here with The Next Big Thing.